Hey, it's me, Navkin. Today I'm going to be telling you, I think, the most dense, desperate, stressful day of my life. This happened about a week ago, and it's like a really engaging, thrilling story, but not in a good way. I was fucked up the whole time. This shit is a roller coaster ride from beginning to end, and I had zero time to rest. And I really want to turn it into art. Like, this actually belongs in a movie of some kind. Few goals. Let's get into the context of the story. So, me and my roommate, we were going to move from an apartment I'm in the Netherlands right now, from Eindhoven city to Tilburg city. And I also had plans that day to go to the municipality to sign up, because that's what you're supposed to do when you move into a new city, at the municipality, and also to pray because, I'm Muslim and it was Friday. Now, I just kind of want to preface this story, before I tell it, that this will be an incredibly hard story for me to tell, and not for any personal reason. Just to clarify, I mean a literally difficult story to communicate to you. This is going to be like a complex, complicated web of events that are all happening at once, and what was happening on my mind was also important to explain what was happening all at once. It was incredibly tightly written. There was some setup that was happening on the days before that led up to, basically what I would call a tragedy. A bunch of events that I should have paid attention to that wouldn't have led to the stress that I had to endure that day. And what makes it hard to tell is that I need to be able to just say everything all at once to accurately portray what happened, because first, it was time sensitive. All of the events that happened were happening in a short time frame, and that's why, when I make this video, I want to have a visual component on screen where and when I actually am, and when and where I have to be. On top of that, so many things are going in my mind. Like, I had three things to keep track of on my mind at in any moment. There were always some new goal that I had to achieve, a new when or where I have to be. Um, and it was even sometimes layered. Like, I have to be at the train station at this time, and the reason why I have to be at the train station at this time is because I have to be at the municipality for my appointment at this time. So, oh my god, it was so much at once. So, yeah, I hope you understand, why it was all incredibly stressful. Um, I don't know how other people are going to follow along with the story, but I really hope, I mean, I'm not a great storyteller, but I hope you can at least understand what's going on, even if I go to some kind of tangent, even though they are relevant and important. Okay, let's actually get started. Let's talk about the plan first. As I said, the context was, for me to bring my old luggage to from Eindhoven to Tilburg. And this is the very last day, by the way. This We were supposed to leave our apartment completely clean. And besides that, the other plans was to go to the municipality, then also to pray. So yeah, there's a couple of places that I need to mention as well. Eindhoven, Tilburg, apartments in each where I have to go to. The train station at Tilburg, the municipality, and also the mosque where I'm going to pray at. So it started at the morning of Friday. In the morning, I still needed to pack up quite a few things, and it turns out there was even more stuff. Like, I was already prepared to go at around 10 a.m., but I looked into my room and realized, oh shit, I didn't clear out the cupboards and stuff. And the train was gonna leave at 10 54. So I had an hour and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be safe. At 10:40 or so, I will leave because it'll take 10 minutes. And especially if I was gonna bring heavy luggage, it was gonna take around that amount of time to leave. So 10:40 is when I'm gonna leave. And uh, at around 10:30, I think, I finished cleaning everything up. So that means I had 10 minutes spare. But the issue is that I wasn't gonna like bring all of my luggage alone. I needed a friend to come here and pick up all that stuff and bring it with me. And I also needed his suitcase because there's even some stuff that I didn't wasn't able to pack yet because we just didn't have enough luggage space. The thing is, he was only gonna arrive at my apartment at around 10:50. The train was gonna leave from the station at 10:54. We were not gonna make it from the apartment to the station in 4 minutes because it was gonna leave at 10:54. I realized he was not gonna come at around 10:46. Now I was just chilling. I was eating a croissant and an orange because there's also kind of a food problem in our apartment that also kind of sucked. The reason why is because we moved all our kitchen cutlery already. I couldn't cook anything, so the only food that I had was basically just old food from 2 days ago, from the last time that I went to the convenience store, aka Jumbo, that's what I'm gonna call it. That was just kind of a bit more of a grievance, but I after this point, after 10:30, the shit hit the fan. It was a complete storm. After this point, I was so stressful for the next around 5 hours. Because at 3 p.m., I think that's basically when the story ends, and I have a lot to talk about until then. Okay, so it was 10:46 and I realized my friend was not going to be here to help me bring all my luggage. And I needed to book it to the station right away cuz it was going to come here in I think 8 minutes cuz it was already 10:46. So I was thinking, should I bring any luggage with me? It's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be shitty to lug around from here to the station, but I felt like I was gonna regret it if I didn't bring at least something. And that was honestly my first mistake. I could have easily left all the stuff here and bring it over in the afternoon, but I thought I would regret it if I didn't bring at least one thing. So I brought like a piece of heavy luggage, a suitcase filled with stuff in it. That was a mistake. And also, I need my backpack because that actually had my files that I needed to go to the municipality. So I booked it all the way there, and guess what? I almost missed the train. Like, I scanned my card, and right as I did that, the train stopped, the one that I needed to go on. And that was pretty much right on time. It was gonna leave the minute after. And again, I was carrying heavy luggage and a backpack filled with stuff, so it was pretty stressful. But on the train, I needed to talk to my friend, my roommate. This is another person. He was not going to help me because he was at work. Um, and I already kind of disappointed him a few days before because I was late to the train. Like, this is a moral that I learned at the end. I need to actually keep track of how long it takes to travel from place to place because that is very important and it takes actual time, like usually 15 minutes or something. Uh, Even like that's 15 minutes is to me is minuscule and it's practically nothing, 0 minutes, but it's not at all. It builds up so much if you go from place to place. So yeah, whatever, that's the moral that I learned. And my friend scolded me for being late to the train. I was like, okay, dude, we're gonna wait until the next train, but this better not happen again. um, and I needed to text him about what was happening today. I was not going to be able to bring all of the luggage as planned. And luckily, he was more understanding this time. He was like, all right, um, we will do everything in the afternoon. So that's good. Now, the next thing that was on my mind is that I need to go to the apartment, um, grab my passport, because that's also the ID needed for the municipality, and then run back to the train, um, and do all of that in around 10 minutes. Now, the train was going to arrive at 11:28, and on my mind, the train is going to leave again at 11:39. Now, that basically gave me time, 11 minutes or so. Yeah. Um, to go there and back. 5 minutes to go to the apartment, 5 minutes to go back. The issue is Google Maps says the estimated time is 10 minutes just to go from the apartment to, or the train station to the apartment. And yep, it was impossible. I arrived at the apartment at 11:41. And one thing that I need to mention, because this will actually come back, is that I did not bother to scan my card when I left the train. What you're supposed to do is scan your card when you arrive on the train, when you get on, and when you get off. Because that's how the company basically just keeps track if you're on the train or not. And I had to remember that. I wanted to commit myself. I did this on purpose to not scan it because I'm 100% sure I'm gonna go back to the train again at 11:39, um, which is why I did not scan it. I was not able to get back on the train at 11:39. I was at the apartment at 11:41, as I said earlier, so way too late. Got my passport though, and this came in super clutch. This is an example of the type writing that needed setup, that has setup for this tragedy. The few days before, I brought my bike over to the new apartment because, eventually we were going to have to bring our bikes from Eindhoven to Tilburg. And I realized, holy shit, I might actually still be able to make the appointment at 12:10 um, if I use my bike. So that's great. That's amazing. I think I arrived at the apartment at 11:41. I left at around 11:46 to have this realization and to grab my passport and shit. And Google Maps estimated that I would arrive at the municipality at around 12:05. And just gonna say this, I fucking hate my bike. I've used other Dutch bikes before. They were super easy to handle, super easy to control, and you never get tired even if you travel for long distances. Completely wrong with my bike. I get so easily tired riding my bike around, and my friend says it also has like zero balance on it. I obviously didn't know these were problems that were with my bike because uh, I just haven't tried other bikes before, but after I did, I realized, yep, my bike is shit. Which sucks because I fell in love with it at first sight, but uh, don't question me on that. Anyways, my bike, I was not a good bike rider, basically. I get really tired, whether it's my bike's fault or me. So once I did arrive at the municipality, I think it was around 12:08. There was another problem, even after being completely and utterly tired. This is another example of setup. There was a festival going on, and bikes were not allowed to um, be used during the festival. And it was happening right in front of the municipality, so I had to go through the festival. And this, first of all, made navigation um, a bit more difficult. And also, I couldn't use my bike. I had to run through the whole place to get to where I was going. And the reason why I say this is kind of like setup is because I have a friend in Tilburg who I actually had an appointment at that day. And also, he was the guy who told us that there was going to be a festival called the Kermis Festival in Tilburg. And I didn't know it was going to affect me. I didn't know I was going to go there. I didn't plan to go there at all. But turns out I did. And maybe if I paid a bit more attention, I should have realized this. But it wasn't too big of a problem. Besides, Well, actually, I needed to navigate through it and also had to run there. Time to dash. I ran through the whole place, and guess what? I did not go to the right building. I went into the wrong building. I don't know, Google Maps misdirected me. I went to the reception. I was like, hey, is this the municipality office? They said no. It's across the street. Go over there. And it was still a bit hard to navigate because there were attractions everywhere and huge signs and stuff. So I wasn't able to find it easily. And I was supposed to be there at 12:10. I arrived at 12:18. I think I arrived at the wrong building at the right time. So that was stupid. Well, I walked into the building, the right building, and then I waited for an employee to come pick me up. Yeah, luckily it was only like, they told me to come 5 minutes early. I think I came in 5, 10 minutes late, but whatever. And yeah, the appointment went all right. They asked me for my BSN number. I didn't have that prepared, but luckily I just have it noted down. And I kind of expected more problems to happen, honestly, during the appointment, but it went off without a hitch. Although there were there was one stupid thing that she mentioned, which is basically that, hey, you didn't need to go to the municipality office at all. You're trying to change your address, right? And she told me you could do that online. You didn't need to physically make an appointment. Um, and so much stress, so much burden would have been off my fucking shoulders if I knew that beforehand. I should have done a bit more research, I guess, but at that point of the day, I was just like so stressed and tired. I asked the employee like, "Hey, I'm tired, man. I just want a drink. I'm so exhausted. Where's the nearest convenience store?" She told me where it was. I left at 12:40. I was at the convenience store Jumbo to buy a drink. Chilled for a bit, and you might be thinking, all right, stress is over, right? No, it um, goes all the way back up again after this point. And I was basically just talking to my friends on WhatsApp about what was going to happen next. They wanted me to, because the next step after this was to pray somewhere, Friday prayer, and they wanted me to we had to do it at a mosque somewhere, and there was either going to be a mosque in Tilburg or in Eindhoven, and they thought it would be better for me to go to Eindhoven because then um, they wouldn't have to wait for me after they wouldn't have to wait for me to travel to Eindhoven basically after I pray. And they were like so kind of cocky about it. Like, duh, go over here. Why the hell are you praying over there? We have to wait 30 minutes for you to come, bro. And I just thought in my head, their problems are like so minuscule and petty compared to what I've been going through the entire day. I'm fucking glad I'm alive, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was 13:06, I think, 1 p.m. 06, and I think, yeah, what was on my mind was that the train was gonna leave to Eindhoven at 13:33, and the time to pray as 13:45. That's when the prayer like starts, or at least the speech that happens before the prayer starts. And if I go to the train, I will not be able to make it to pray anywhere, um, because I'll be on the train while the prayer is happening. And I thought, whatever, I'll skip it. I will, not do the religious thing. I've skipped or forgotten to do the Sholjam before. Um, and this is kind of a special situation where I was so stressed out, and I was so kind of like so low self-esteem on myself. I was such a failure throughout the entire day. I've been disappointing my friends, and I could barely make it on time for any of my appointments. So I was like, whatever, I'll just skip the Friday prayer. I actually go to the apartment first, and I arrive at 1319 to pee because I needed to pee, and also to drop off my documents because I still was carrying them when I went to the municipality. And then I went, and as I said, the train leaves at 13:33, and it's 13:19 when I was at the apartment. And I had my bike this time, so I just needed to, book it to the station with my bike in 10 minutes or so. And you would think, well, that's better than walking. Actually, I don't think I did not make it. Why? Even though I was faster. Because I was on the wrong fucking platform. Like, there's two sides to the station. I was basically on the wrong side. Um, and what's funny is that it was literally minutes. Like, when I was on the wrong side, I saw the train coming, and I was like, wait, shit, if I go through this side, um, I will not be able to access the fucking train. And then the train just left when I, reached the other side. Welp, that sucks. So that was plan B. I pray in Tilburg. And that was at 13:45, as I said, and it was currently 13:34 or something. It'll take 5 or so minutes to get to the mosque by bike, and I arrived there basically on time. So that was one successful thing, maybe two, because I went to the municipality and I was able to pray on time. And yeah, it's just me sitting down on a carpeted floor, listening to the couldve. Well, not really, but I was just not really chilling. Is the calm is the calm after the storm. And yeah, I after the prayer, I took my bike to get to the train station. I went on the fucking wrong platform again, but at least I was 10 minutes early, so I could fix my mistake and get to the right platform. God, that was stupid. And then I was just traveling back to Eindhoven while I was writing the experience that I had today, and that was around 2:30. So yeah, and guess what? I also remembered not to scan my OV chip card this time, and the reason why you like there is not much security when it comes to small train stations when it comes to scanning your card. Sometimes there's like a gate you need to pass through, but there isn't for the small train stations in Eindhoven or Tilburg, the ones that I was going to. And if you don't scan it, you don't have to pay, but there is the risk that an officer would come and scan your card. And if your card is not scanned, I assume you get questioned or taken somewhere. Um, but luckily, I remembered not to scan it. Remember much earlier in the story? Yeah. Uh, the officer actually came, scanned my card, and was like, "Yep, you're free to go," because I actually remembered not to. So that was actually important. But like usually every other time, the officer does not come. This is the one time that the officer actually did come, and I remembered to scan the thing and not scan it the second time. That was amazing. At least I was good enough to remember that. And also, I need to tell that I wasn't gonna be for the appointment at 2 3 p.m. So yeah, but later that day, I did go to his apartment and he made dinner for us, and I really wanted to chill and eat, and I was tired after everything that happened. So that's great. After I went to Eindhoven, um, me and my friends got all of our stuff, the remaining stuff that I wasn't able to bring the first time, all the way to Tilburg. And at Tilburg, I was just being with my other friend, and we went to his apartment to eat dinner, and that was the end of the day, basically. The failures was like I wasn't able to bring all the luggage at once as planned. Um, and I was 10 minutes late to the municipality. If they were really strict, I would have just gotten kicked out. Maybe. And I was praying in Tilburg instead of Eindhoven, and I was late with my appointment with Roy. Whatever. I'd be thinking, well, the story's over, isn't it? Click off the video. No. There is the day after. I still had some business to do in Eindhoven, even though I already moved all of my stuff to Tilburg. The suitcase that I had was my friend's suitcase, and I wanted to bring it back to him the day afterwards. And the context is that my roommate was gonna go to the airport because he was gonna travel back to Indonesia that day. That exact day. And I figured, hey, I'm gonna bring my friend's suitcase because we're all gonna meet up there and he is gonna, bring the suitcase back to him because it belongs to him. I might as well. It's makes it more convenient instead of finding another day to bring his suitcase back and stuff. Now, here's the thing. He did not want me to bring the suitcase to the airport because he was going to go somewhere else after the airport. He said he was going to go to the zoo, and he did not want to lug his suitcase around while he was traveling, doing tourist stuff. That makes sense. But that was not information that was revealed to me until very late. And he called me a dumbass for not knowing that. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me earlier? Also, why are you an asshole about it? Why are you calling me names? Why are you insulting me? But whatever, I dealt with it. That's why he wanted me to go to Eindhoven before the airport to bring his suitcase to him just before they leave to the airport, and we could all travel to the airport together. Now, he called me lazy for not wanting to do this, for not wanting to rendezvous with him before they go to the airport. I have just told you a whole story that happened the day before about me stressing the fuck out about everything that happened that day, how many appointments that I had to visit, and it was all incredibly time sensitive. I told him that story as well, and I told him I was very tired and exhausted after that day. And even then, at night, I had to clean up my room because it was filled with luggage. Yeah, I actually have a picture of it. I think I'll show it on screen. The bed was not even clean and I couldn't sleep on it yet. I need to move stuff around. I needed to make sure that I actually could eat. I had to go to the convenience store again, but this time one of them was closed, but luckily the other one was open for, 1 hour more because it was at night. So that was clutch. And if that convenience store wasn't open, I literally had nothing to eat. Um, and again, on top of that, I had to clean all my luggage so I could actually sleep. I told him all of these things. I told him I was tired and exhausted after yesterday. And he's still like, fuck you. You're lazy for not wanting to come with us to Eindhoven this morning. And I was sighing. I was like, okay, I will be the bigger man. I will bring you your suitcase. I will try to make it on time for you this morning. And it was already it was kind of like too little too late, I guess, at that moment in time. Because, okay, we need to go back to the timestamps again, because this is another time sensitive situation. As I said, more stress. So the train is gonna leave at 1:30, and I mean, I assume, okay, I was talking to him at 1 p.m. and the train was going to leave at 1:30. So I had 30 minutes to make it to the train. Easy peasy. Great. I was carrying some luggage. It's fine. I have a lot of time. And I think the only thing that I ate, because I did not have much to eat, again, the only thing that I could eat was whatever I bought at the convenience store. It was like or a yogurt drink or something like that, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I went to the train at 13:30, and the train was gonna arrive at 14:04, and I was texting my friend, "Hey, our bus is gonna leave at 14:24." So I had to be there 20 minutes basically. I had 20 minutes to go from the station to my friend's apartment to bring him his suitcase. Now, Google Maps estimated it took like that exact amount of time. Um, so it was so fucking exhausting because I mean, obviously I couldn't be there at exactly 14:24. I needed to be there like 5 minutes early because we needed time to travel from our friend's apartment to the bus station, and we couldn't be late for this one. If we were late for this one, my friend would be late for the airport to get onto his fucking flight. So, I had this burden on me to be there on time. And I not only was I walking, I was also carrying, a suitcase. At least, I mean, it was an empty suitcase at least. But everyone was telling me, like, texting me, run, you bitch, you better get here, you asshole. So I did, and I must have looked so stressed out and stupid. Like there were bystanders that were staring at me, like, "What is this kid doing? He's carrying a huge suitcase." And I was hugging the suitcase because I could barely stand. I was running so hard to get to my friend's apartment on time. Once I arrived, I just fucking passed out. Yeah, whatever. I was making snow angels on the ground, even though there was no snow. Um, yeah, that was basically it. And that was just kind of the disrespect. I just wanted to show the disrespect that my friends was giving me on that day as well. And to make it even worse, he wanted to go to the zoo, right? That's what I said earlier. Um, and that's why he wanted me to bring his suitcase all the way over to Eindhoven before we got to the airport, because he didn't want to lug his suitcase around while he was going to the zoo. Issue is, the zoo was going to close at like 6 p.m., and we arrived at the airport at like 4 p.m. or something. So he'd only have 2 hours to to go around in the zoo, and he thought that was too little amount of time, and he was just gonna go home straight after that. So what that means is that I did not need to bring the suitcase over to Eindhoven at all. I could have just brought it over to the airport, and then he could have grabbed the luggage, and then he could have went home, because that's exactly what he did. Like he Like, I didn't have to run all the way from the station to my friend's apartment and have to be so stressed out and exhausted. But yeah, I hate that guy. Yeah, here's the thing. I have a really bad habit of just being friendly to people that I hate. And after this event that happened with my friends, I don't think my relationship to them is really going to change all that much, even though they really show their true colors of just being so petty and not understanding what my problems are, even though I told them what it was. Um, and it's like, I always suck it up and I never complain. Um, it's a bit, I don't know, psychopathic, but at the same time, like, people have problems with other people. There are differences and conflicts are bound to happen, and you kind of have to deal with it. So you keep in contact with them and focus on their good parts, what they could bring to you. And that's cool and all, but whenever there is a problem, I think I really should voice it out so that they would know and hopefully fix themselves a bit so they could be more tolerable to me. Not even tolerable, just like I don't think this is levels of tolerance anymore. This is like decency. This is like basic human decency. But whatever. Because I feel like I don't know, I'll be alone if I just kept arguing and complaining about things to other people. Anyways, I learned quite a few things from this whole experience. The whole story's done, and I just wanted to say what I learned from it. First, I should pay more attention to travel time. Because as I said before, I always expected, commute to be 0 minutes long, uh, and it's not very important. But it does add up, especially if you have to go to one place to another, many places to many other places. It really adds up. It might even take like just an hour. Like I get the feeling if I really add up all the time that it took from that day, the amount of time for commute must have been like, I don't know, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, even though it's just traveling. Nothing's happening on the traveling, but it's important because I have to get from place to place. But anyways, I should have paid more attention to others and realized things before they happen. Like, I mean, they're not necessarily that important, but especially the Digi ID online appointment thing with the municipality. That could have been avoided and really made like that was the key thing that I realized, hey, if I knew this, none of my problems right now would have been happening. Um, but also, this is just the message from me to you. This is the moral that you're gonna learn after you hear my story. First of all, lesser than me would have failed. Okay, I'm a genius. Nah, I'm joking, but like, I really think that if I had less mental resilience or whatever, I would have just given up to despair at how much I had to do that day. But secondly, um, I need better fucking friends. I suffered so much that day, and I wasn't able to tell anyone about it because of a few like it's a really complex, complicated story that I just told you. It took me, I think, 50 minutes is how long this recording is right now. And I tried telling someone else about my problems. They would not listen to me at all. Or if they did, they'd just be like, bruh, it's your fault, bruh. You should have planned this beforehand. Or they, you know what, they wouldn't even have the decency to tell me that. They wouldn't even have the decency to give me any advice. They'd just be like, oh, you're stupid, idiot. And that's it. They'll make fun of me instead of giving me any actual helpful advice. And I mean, yeah, I should have planned things beforehand, but they're not going to say that to me. They're just going to call me dumb. And this is one of those problems that, like, no one else would care to listen to. Like, these are your problems, but I felt so stressed, exhausted, and desperate throughout the whole time that it becomes really important to me, and I really want to tell it to someone, but no one cares really about my problems, and it's a long, complicated story, and that's why I am telling it to you right now. And I think it is a really entertaining story, at least. So I hope, even if anything else in this video, um, you were engaged by this thriller that I had to experience. Again, I want to make this into a story of some kind, just to show how desperate I was that day, I guess. And yeah, that's everything that I had to say. Thank you for listening. I really hope you made it to the end. I'm already tired from even telling this story for speaking for 15 minutes, so I'm gonna take a rest, go make some lunch. See ya. Thank you very much for watching.